Hey y'all, my name's Kim. Welcome to my second official YouTube video. I wanted to hop on and introduce myself since I did not do that in the very first video. I am just starting out vegetable gardening. I took an interest when my husband bought me an Aerogarden back in December for Christmas, and I have to say I caught the fever, and I probably have about I don't know, 38 to 40 different things planted. I did put in my introduction that we live in the middle of the city. I don't live on an acreage, I don't live on a farm, but I think what I'm really hoping to do is learn how to become more self-sufficient. I want to grow my own vegetables. I would much rather throw vegetables out that I've grown if they happen to go bad, versus buying them at the store and throwing them out because they sat in my fridge and went bad. So I'd like to grow my own vegetables. I would like to learn how to do, canning, freeze drying, any kind of food preservation, just to become more self-sustaining and not have to spend so much at the grocery store, quite frankly. The other thing I've heard is, and this may sound funny because those of you who might be experienced with vegetable gardening may know this already, but I keep hearing everybody say that fresh grown veggies are better than ones in the store. So I'm looking forward to that. But I thought I would at least just hop on, introduce myself, give a face with a name, and show you what I've got going on. I'll take you on a quick tour of things that I have growing inside my house that I've got under some grow lights. I've got things that are on my porch that I just want to keep outside, and then I've got I guess a garden bed on wheels. I don't know what else you call it, but I'm gonna make it into like an herb garden and keep it on my porch. And then my husband and I built 2 raised garden beds in our backyard that I've started, and I will end up adding more because I can tell you that for what I've planted, I don't have enough space. So stay tuned and let me take you on a quick tour of what I've got. One of the things that I will probably do is show a montage of pictures where I started things in an Aerogarden and then transplanted them at various stages. I planted them from the Aerogarden into maybe some little cups, and then I planted them into my raised bed that's here on the porch, and then I transplanted them out in the garden. So I'll show that in an upcoming video. So here's what I have going on my porch right now. A couple of these started in the Aerogarden. I started actually this tomato plant and that tomato plant. I started in the Aerogarden, and that's where they've grown. And this is probably the first one that is actually yielding any fruit, which is fantastic. I mean, that makes me so excited. You have no idea. This is a Roma tomato, and I started that from seed, not in the Aerogarden. And I started that. I bought these cool little humidity dome things on Amazon. I'll see if I can link them down in the bottom. But I really like these humidity dome things I bought. They're like a 12 seed tray. This is a jalapeno plant. It looked a lot better before I pruned it, but thanks to the Rusted Garden, I learned how to prune, and so I cut the tops off to make it a little bit more bushy instead of growing tall. But that's kind of what that looks like. I've got mint that started in an Aerogarden, and then this is I have one plant left. I was experimenting with hydroponics, and I planted a cucumber plant, and it doesn't seem to be doing very well, even though it's got beautiful blossoms. And I am trying to pollinate not self-pollinate, but I'm trying to pollinate the blossoms with each other. They're falling off and not producing anything. I've probably had about 4 or 5 blossoms on the bottom, but I think I've discovered I like soil much better, so I'm not going to go with the hydroponics. Over here, I started celery from the end of a stalk, and I just started it in water, and it's gotten pretty big. I'm excited about that. Never done something like that before. These are some newer seedlings I have. Poblanos, Brussels sprouts, jalapeno, big boy tomato, and then a lavender that I can't quite get to grow for some reason. And then this is, I'm gonna make this kind of my herb bed. It's had a couple of different things in it. Some of them I've transplanted out in the raised beds in my yard, but I think I'm gonna keep this on the porch and just do herbs and stuff. I do have some broccoli left over in the back. I transplanted 4 in my raised bed, but I'm gonna keep those right there for now in case the others die, because I'm not convinced that I can get things past the early stages and get them to actually fruit. So we'll see what happens. But I've got Thai basil, parsley, chives, cilantro, thyme, and then I've got 1 rosemary sprig coming up. I've got some Greek oregano. I did go ahead and transplant some sweet peppers here just to get them started. And then that's my basil plant from my first video where I decimated my basil plant to make pesto. This started in the Aerogarden. It was a Golden Harvest cherry tomato plant. It seems to have stalled. I'm not getting any new growth on it. I am fertilizing everything once a week on Sundays. Not sure what's going on. These I bought just at the garden store. That's a lemon tree, lime tree, and then this is supposed to keep mosquitoes away. So we'll see if it works. Okay, let me take you up to my raised garden bed. They're in the back of the yard. Here we are. So first I have garlic, and I grew those just from 4 cloves of garlic. It was amazing how fast they sprouted. I no sooner planted them and like the next day they had sprouted. It was crazy. I have carrots, and then this is hard to see. I've got some onions planted, and you can kind of see the green a little bit. I'm not sure if they're going to do very well or not, but and then my Roma tomatoes. I planted 2 of them out here just to see what they would do in the garden. They've gotten beaten up from the weather and the sun. I don't know if I didn't harden them off enough or what, and I don't know if they'll recover, but I'm not convinced those are going to recover. We have a cabbage, an eggplant. That's a baby broccoli. And then those are my 4 broccoli that I transplanted from that other bed I just showed. And I'm not sure if they've grown up, and I don't know if I need to bury those deeper. I do need more dirt overall in my flower bed, or I keep calling them flower beds, in my vegetable beds. But this is what I started with. In this one, I've got things that are looking a little better than the other one. Over here, I've got black turtle beans because I would like to get some black beans out of that. And I'd like to learn how to, can those and preserve those. And then these are regular heirloom garden green beans. And they seem to be looking and doing really well. I've got even new growth on some of them just in the last 24 hours. So I'm excited about that. And then I do know that over here along this side, I've got them planted too close together, but I've got at the top, I've got zucchini, squash, zucchini, and squash. I just planted them because I am not convinced. I'm just not convinced if I'm going to get stuff to grow. This one looks a little yellow compared to the others, so I'm not sure. I don't know. We'll see. These are okra. And I've got, this one's looking really well. This one's looking a little puny. I think this one probably weathered, the one on the left, weathered a little bit more, no, the right, weathered a little bit more than the one on the left, so that would be my other left, other right. Brussels sprouts, I probably need to prune those bottom leaves to get those off of there, but those are my Brussels sprouts. And they seem to be doing really well. I'm getting new growth in the middle of them. So, and then cucumbers back here. And there's the hubs coming to check things out. And there's cucumbers. We just had a month worth of winds that our news station reported. It's the worst winds in like 50 years. And so these are pretty beat up, but there's new growth on the top of them. So I'm hoping that they'll weather the storm here. I don't have any blossoms on any of these, and I haven't had any blossoms on these. I did start those in hydroponics like the other one I showed that actually has flowers on it. But I don't know. These just aren't putting any flowers out, so we'll see what happens with these. And then these are English cucumbers, and that one does not look like it's gonna do well. This one might, we'll see. I think my biggest fear is that I can get them to this point, and maybe that's as far as I'm gonna be able to go. If any of you have felt like that, then let me know so I know I'm not alone. And yes, we have another side to stain there. Ran out of stain. So those are the garden beds. And I think my plan for this whole back area is I'll fill all of this in with rock, and I'll probably end up putting another bed right over there. I will end up doing something closer back there where there's a little bit more shade, close to the trees, and then I'll probably put something else up in here. I just don't have enough. That's not going to be enough garden for what I want to do. So anyways, let's go back up to the porch and I'll take you inside and show you what I have inside. I did forget to show that here are some morning glories that I am planting, and my hope is that I will transplant them along that fence, maybe in some containers at the bottom, and have them grow up the fence, or buy some trellises so they can grow up the fence and create some privacy. Okay, inside I do have some romaine lettuce growing. I have another mint, and then my Aerogarden. I know that so I'm kind of using this Aerogarden more as just germination. I know that I've seen a lot of videos from people where they've got everything's all bushy and you just kind of keep it on your counter and use things as you need them to. But I think I'm using it more for, germinating, and then taking them, like I'll transplant those chives probably out there next to the other chives here pretty soon. I have some cabbage back here. I think that's Chinese cabbage. And then I have some cubanelles here and banana peppers there. But I'll transplant those outside soon. And then that's just a sad one of my cucumbers left from hydroponics. They have the roots got really long. I think my husband is rather happy because this whole area, that whole table, was filled with tons of plants. My whole counter was full. I even had a table right over there where those black buckets are. Had a table over there with grow lights on them, and just, it was crazy. Now we're here in our front bedroom that I kind of converted to, I guess you could call it my grow room. But this is where I've started some container lettuce. That's an old romaine back there that I think it's probably pretty much done. But anyways, there's some lettuce. And then I've got some marigolds that I started. I've got some, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, agastache. It is the Heather Queen Texas Mint agastache. Anyways, those are just now sprouting. I've got a few little sprouts here and there. And then in here, I've got some banana peppers and cubanelles, and those are sprouting. I love these humidity domes. I'll see if I can get those linked below. And then down here, I just planted some more like tomatoes, peppers, green onions, Chinese cabbage, and see what I get. So this is what has become of my one little Aerogarden present this Christmas. I now have a full-on grow room, raised beds, garden beds, plants all over my porch, and maybe I'm crazy, but anyways. So thanks for watching. Please leave me any comments that you can regarding if you've seen anything that I need to do differently or have any helpful hints, tips, tricks, whatever. I'm glad to take them. So y'all have a great night. Thanks. Bye.